Hello fellow Helldivers, Thornton here, and it is spooky season, so I went ahead and decorated the background a little bit. Let me know if you guys actually like it. All that being said, today we're going to be talking about sub-factions, factions, and also enemy upgrades. As most of you have probably noticed, the new automaton jet brigade has been a huge issue in getting this democracy space station built. We're going to cover all of that, but without further ado, let's jump into today's democracy news. Helldivers 2 has been on an absolute tear when it comes to adding in new content. And one of the most intriguing ones observed by players in Helldivers 2 is the appearance of mysterious blue lasers during matches. These lasers have been documented in video clips, as you can see here, showcasing their ability to eliminate players with just one shot. While some are speculating that these lasers could be a glitch or a ricochet effect from projectiles, which, does happen in games like this, others believe they signify the arrival of a new enemy faction, specifically the Illuminate from the original Helldivers game. Plus, I feel like if they were actually a bug in the game, Arrowhead would actually address that and say, hey, don't worry about it, it's just a bug. Now, the Illuminate are known for their advanced technology and blue energy weapons, Blue light, blue energy weapons, there you go. Now, this could bring a new dimension of challenge and strategy to Helldivers 2 if they indeed make an appearance. The resemblance of these blue lasers to the snipers operated by the Illuminate in the first game adds credence to this theory, and I am terrified of snipers ever since Halo 2 and the Jackals on Legendary Edition, so I assume this is going to give me a lot of PTSD. Johan Pilstedt, the CEO of Arrowhead Studios, did hint at these developments through a playful tweet, further fueling speculation among the community, and he's done this before with mechs, with the bugs aren't real, they're just propaganda, so it does seem like this is going to be coming to the game very, very soon. However, before we can even begin to worry about the Illuminate and the blue beams coming in, the gloom is continuing to spread on the Terminate side, and with it, we are going to get brand new enemy types, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about what to expect with the evolution of the bugs in that regard. It does look like the gloom is going to be something that's already been teased by Arrowhead. As they were actually asked recently, they're working on a planetary modifier that will see new lethal variants of some of our existing bug spawns. I'm pleased with how they are turning out, and I think they will present a unique challenge for the Helldivers. Another enemy I've worked on is the Impaler, which I will not say more about at this point. Obviously, this was a question asked before the new escalation of Freedom, where they did talk about the Impaler that they've been working on, and that the gloom is going to be something that modifies the Terminate enemies into something much more dangerous. And we actually have an idea of what some of these ones coming in are going to be. For instance, Iron Sights found the Bile Charger, which is a mutated form of the Charger in game, as you can see here, that is going to go ahead and drop acid on us, and it looks like the gloom is going to be responsible for this coming in. Along with that, there are game files for a Bug Dragon, which seems to be very large, and yes, it will be a brand new flying target, which seems pretty interesting. Along with that, it seems like it's a scout, as it has the ability to raise a threat and then also warn allies. But the big question is, since this is on the Terminate side of the map, is it gonna make its way to the Meridia black hole, which has been, the last major story beat we got involving the Illuminate to some capacity? And what would happen if the gloom got into the other side? Is it possible this is what kicks off the war between Super Earth and the Illuminate, as we have seen Iron Sights actually post tripods in game? Apparently this is going to be as big as a Bile Titan, which is absolutely terrifying and could be the thing that escalates the war further. And if it does escalate further, there's something that we as Helldivers actually have as a tool that we can rely on, but also might end up damaging us as well. In case you guys didn't know, there are a ton of factions right now within Super Earth. There is the Ministry of Humanity, Ministry of Prosperity, Ministry of Expansion, Ministry of Unity, Ministry of Science, and Ministry of Intelligence, but no one really needs that, Ministry of Truth, and of course, the Ministry of Defense. Now, all those actually have specific mission and goals found in the game files. For instance, the Ministry of Science is constantly pushing Super Earth technology forward and ensures our security over our enemies. As we know, we are going to be getting new types of weapons and a science officer. It makes sense that we're going to see this faction pop up pretty soon. Of course, the Ministry of Defense is responsible for the defense of Super Earth against external threats and manages the Super Earth armed forces, which we'll probably see when that new mansion comes in with the President files and we have to defend Super Earth itself. The Ministry of Unity ensures all of mankind is united as one and protects us from internal threats such as deviant behavior and expression of dangerous ideas. Fun enough, there is a rebel faction found in the NPC files, so it does look like Ministry of Unity is going to have some work to do, as that enemy faction will be coming in the near future. Of course, the Ministry of Expansion tirelessly works to increase Super Earth's reach and secure vital resources for our society to thrive, and that's going to be pretty big when we come to the Illuminate, because we're going to want that area for ourselves. And the Ministry of Truth is responsible for keeping all citizens well informed and mentally equipped to withstand our enemies' bile propaganda. And if you disagree with that, well, you need to go see your nearest democracy officer, because they'd like to have a word with you. However, it's not just Super Earth that has a plethora of factions that are going to be coming into the game in the very near future. We have two very potent factions that we must currently contend with, one being the automatons and the other other ones being the Terminids. And now, as most of us know, the Illuminate are right around the corner. We've seen tons of images of them. You can see them shaking their staffs and spears and just overall being very menacing. But when we look at the galactic map, we notice that currently it is divided in such a way that there is going to be room for 2 more factions, meaning that there will be something coming after the Illuminate. But the question is, well, what is it going to be? And it appears that there is a person or a architect, if you will, that is running the game behind the scenes and could be actually be responsible for not only the 2 current factions, but also the 3rd Illuminate, and then also a 4th faction as well, at least according to some current theories. One that I liked by Asunder is that he's controlling all of them. This is all a giant war against Super Earth. Now, the first thing to go over is that there are a lot of people that are hoping we get rebels in the game, and it's very possible that that is an actual option, because Ironsight's pointed out that in the files right now, there is an NPC type named Rebels. And what's important to know is that cyborgs in the original Helldivers game were the rebels, and they were a product of Super Earth. Ironsights broke down pretty easily what's going on with the rebel faction, because there is a gentleman called the Architect, as we mentioned, that seems to be the creator of the bots. It is going to be fairly far away, and it was possibly sourced from the second group of cyborg researchers that fled from Cyberstan during the 100-year raid. These researchers then formed the Automaton Development Group. However, it's unknown right now if the Architect is even human, and file strings speculate being an entirely new alien race, though that is speculated by the NPCs that are also in the game. We've actually seen science officers NPCs that we went over in a video the other day. They look to be part of an ongoing crew progression system that would be really cool coming in the near future. There's also this other really cool transmission, and it will give you a little bit more lore and insight and go into a little bit further of what Ironsights is actually talking about into the cyborg menace.
History matters. After the First Galactic War, Super Earth kindly allowed the cyborg secessionists to live, giving them stable work deep within the mines of Cyberstan. But, twisted by their implants, the cyborgs sought their revenge by creating the Automaton Legion.
So it's very clear that the cyborgs went to Cyberstan, created the automatons to fight us, but that the Architect might actually be one of those units, and he also seems like he could be involved in the evolution of the bugs in some capacity. As Ironsight says, one of the NPCs says the Architect is involved with the evolution of bugs in some ways. I mean, that's a pretty clear-cut thing going on right now. So while I do think it is possible there's going to be a rebel faction that could be the 4th one, I like the idea that it's going to be an entirely new race. Symbiotes would be very cool, and that the rebels will be more of a side faction slash mini faction that pops up from time to time. It doesn't make sense to really have us fight humans when there are so much more deadly threats. Although when we look at how we're doing in the war, we're probably the most deadly. I hope you guys like the theories about Cyberstan, a 4th faction, and the rebels, and I do hope that if we do get rebels, they kind of play like the C stratagem drop that should be coming in the near future. Let me know down below, what kind of faction would you think would be a really cool addition to Helldivers 2 outside of the upcoming Illuminate, which a lot of us are very hopeful for. Also, don't forget to check out this video and this video right here where I cover more news on Helldivers 2 on the daily, and until next time everyone, thanks for stopping by. Keep spreading democracy.